right, so get this. We are going deep today. Reddit, right? A thread on our guy cry, and it is blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
Men crying and, like, just all the stuff around emotional vulnerability.
Wow.
The comments, though, intense. You
Really?
got everything. Raw, vulnerable stuff, simmering anger, some people just straight up defensive.
It's a touchy subject, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You can tell this is hitting a nerve.
It's like, it's more than online, right?
Totally.
Like this thread, it's like a mini version of what men deal with in the real world.
Exactly. That pressure, it's everywhere. So
Yeah.
today, that's what we're unpacking. Societal pressures, what's good, what's risky about being vulnerable, and, maybe how can men be, like, emotionally
These
healthier?
questions.
Huge. So the OG post that started it all, Amazing Cold 1702, he's saying men should embrace vulnerability.
Okay.
And, ready for this, he says they should look for partners who are cool with that, who accept it.
Bold statement.
Right. I mean, on one hand, think about it, stronger relationships,
Yeah.
you're mentally healthier, you're being real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like totally opposite of what a lot of guys have heard their whole lives.
Oh, yeah, that whole real men don't cry thing.
Exactly. And one commenter, His Eminence, he was saying that expectation is so deep, like it's in everything.
It's not just, like, in your head.
No. It's how we as a society act with each other.
And if you go back historically, it's all about those old school masculinity ideas.
Strength, not showing feelings, being in control.
Yeah, and those aren't just ideas, they get passed down.
For generations.
Exactly, and that affects men emotionally. It has a real impact.
And the thread, there are so many personal stories. Static dress suite, he talked about, in a past relationship, getting shamed for showing emotion.
Oof,
Now he's scared to be vulnerable, period.
it's tough.
It's sad, and it makes you think these experiences, they can really hurt people.
Long-lasting, too. It's like a wound. Every time you try to connect emotionally, it opens up again.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Amazing Cold 1702 was suggesting therapy for him.
Makes sense.
Sometimes you need help to unpack all that and trust yourself, trust other people again.
It's not like you just decide to change and it happens. It's real healing.
Deep stuff.
But here's the thing. In this conversation, which is often pretty heated, there's also empathy, support. Secretly, Celestia, she's autistic, and she's like, I don't get this whole men can't cry thing.
Mm,
She helped a male friend through grief, no problem.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's not like all women are against men showing emotions, right?
Right, and it reminds us making those blanket statements is dangerous.
It is.
Look for relationships where people get you, no matter what gender.
Absolutely. But we can't ignore this. There's anger in some comments aimed at women.
Yeah, I saw that.
P1G San, he was talking about being hurt by women, even his mom. I
Mm.
wonder, what's behind all that anger?
Could be a lot of things. Past experiences, maybe it's how society sets men and women up against each other, or maybe just not having healthy ways to deal with pain. It's complicated.
It is, and we need to unpack that, not just dismiss it.
Totally agree.
And then Wisdom's Optional, the moderator, comes in with some much-needed sense,
Oh, good.
challenging those generalizations, reminding everyone that one person's experience isn't everyone's.
Important reminder.
Yeah, like, think critically, find solutions for yourself, don't blame whole groups of people,
I like that approach. In these conversations, things get emotional.
for sure.
Easy to overgeneralize, make huge statements.
It happens all the time.
Wisdom's Optional brought it back to nuance, personal responsibility.
So key. Because this Reddit thread, it's chaotic, all these opinions, but it shows a bigger conversation happening.
Yeah.
We're figuring out what healthy masculinity even means now.
Right.
Yeah.
In the 21st century, exactly.
Like ditching the old rules, but what replaces them?
Right, yeah, it's like this push and pull, more awareness of like mental health for men, being real, all that. But then these old ideas are so strong.
It's a tough spot. Like, be yourself, but
But what'll happen?
exactly. Reading these comments, the word I keep thinking of is fear.
Mm.
Yeah. Being judged, rejected, even laughed at for showing emotion.
Makes sense when you see what these guys have gone through.
Like static dress suite.
Right.
Scared to be vulnerable because of that past relationship.
Deep cuts, man. Hard to open up after that. Trust again.
It's like one bad thing messes up all the relationships after.
Yeah, can do that.
So then how do we even start making a space where men feel safe to, just be?
Where they don't have to pick between being real and fitting some mold.
Right.
Tough one. I think empathy, understanding. We gotta listen to men, no judgment.
Yeah,
Their feelings are real, just like anyone else's.
Totally.
And we got to fight those ideas that say men can't express themselves.
Just like a whole culture reset, almost.
It is. Because it's not enough to just say, be vulnerable.
No, it's got to be safe to do that.
Exactly. Got to have support.
And it's not just men talking to women, right?
No, men need their own spaces, too.
Yeah.
To connect, share, be there for each other.
Like support groups.
Yeah.
Or even just honest talks with friends, family.
Exactly. That's what made me think about that anger we saw aimed at women.
Yeah, there's frustration there. Like women just don't get it.
Complex, for sure. I think it's like the history of men and women, how they express emotions.
Different for sure.
Miscommunication, misunderstanding built up over time. Some men, they feel like women don't get their struggles, aren't there for them emotionally.
So hurt on both sides.
Yeah, a lot of work to do, build bridges, understand each other better. Not about blame, more like we all have a part to play.
Totally agree. Amazing Cold 1702 was saying therapy can help with emotional vulnerability.
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. It's a safe space, process feelings, learn how to cope, build better habits.
Especially if there's been trauma, bad experiences around emotions.
Definitely.
Makes sense.
Huge.
But there's still that stigma, right? Men going to therapy.
Huge stigma, seen as weak, like you can't handle things yourself.
We got to change that.
Completely. Asking for help is strong, not weak. It takes guts to admit you need support.
It does.
Therapy is powerful. Personal growth, healing. You're investing in yourself, your well-being.
Love that, investing in yourself. Because in the end, being emotionally vulnerable, it's not becoming someone else.
Right.
It's like finding your real self
Mhm.
and then expressing that in a good way.
Perfectly said. It's like vulnerability isn't the bad guy. It's a superpower. Connect with people, have better relationships, live a real life,
Deep.
It is.
So, biggest things holding men back from this. Is it just what society says? Or is there more?
Societal stuff is huge, like this pressure, always there, telling men to hide their feelings.
To be accepted,
Rejected.
respected.
Exactly, but I think it goes deeper.
How so? What else could it be?
Fear, plain and simple. Judgment, rejection, looking weak, less of a man.
And those fears, society feeds them, right? Media, families, even friends sometimes.
All over. It's a vicious cycle. Don't be emotional, so you bottle it up, more fear, anxiety, and then you can't connect with people. Totally. Breaking free is hard. Gotta fight those old beliefs, see vulnerability as a good thing, find healthy ways to express yourself.
So much to unpack.
And it comes back to that, basic human thing, wanting to connect. We all want to belong, feel seen, understood.
Yeah.
But for men, with all that, don't show your feelings stuff, finding that real connection, it's tough.
It's like walking on eggshells. What do I say? Do I do the wrong thing?
Right. And then that fear of being judged, rejected, just for being yourself.
That'd be tiring.
Exhausting. And that's what Amazing Cole 1702 was talking about. Find partners who are okay with vulnerability.
Who get it?
Yeah. It's a reminder we choose who we're with. We can choose people who help us grow emotionally, let us be ourselves, even the messy parts.
Find your people, right?
Yeah.
The ones who don't think being vulnerable is bad, they celebrate it.
Totally. And not just romantic, friends, family, people at work. It's like building that empathy, understanding everywhere.
I like that.
Imagine, vulnerability is a good thing. Not scary, not hidden. It's celebrated. That's the world I want.
Me too. But how do we get there? It's not just talking, right?
No, it's action too. But I do think change starts with talking. Keep these conversations going. Share. Challenge those old ideas that hold men back.
And support, right? Like groups for men's mental health. Speaking up when you hear those stereotypes, making things more inclusive, accepting for everyone.
All of that. Every little thing helps shift things. It's like a ripple effect. That empathy, understanding, it spreads out from each of us.
I love that image. This deep dive, it's been, wow, eye-opening. There's still so much to do, unlearn, relearn about this whole thing. But the fact that we're talking about it, yeah, that's good, right?
It is. More men are speaking up, sharing, wanting things to be better.
And people are listening, realizing this is important, supporting men emotionally.
Yeah, that's where the real change is. We all realize we can do better, make a world where being vulnerable is seen as the strength it actually is.
So to everyone listening, keep the conversation going. Challenge those old ways of thinking. Support the men in your life. Make a world where they can just be themselves fully.
And if you're feeling this, wanting to explore more, we have our podcast, Voices of the Soul, lots more like this. And our YouTube channel, Shauna Pelage, lots of good stuff there too. We're all about understanding what it means to be human and making space for growth.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those conversations going.